everyone, it's Brandy. So as most of y'all know, I recently just got married, and I'm sorry if you hear some like loud background noises. That is actually our washing machine. Yeah, it's that loud. But I'm gonna try and get to this video, and hopefully my voice kind of drowns out that background washing machine. So I just need to make sure that I'm talking just 24/7. But anyway, as most of y'all know, I just got married. We actually got married August 22nd, so almost 2 months ago. And I wanted to go ahead and share because so many people in the autoimmune community, especially with rheumatoid arthritis, we kind of have this anxiousness that comes about when we are preparing for big events. We kind of stress, and of course, the stress goes into it, but for most of us, that stress can contribute to us having flare-ups or our symptoms increasing. So I wanted to talk about how I kind of handled that stress so that I could enjoy the day, and also just I also had just stress and anxiety about, oh my gosh, what if I'm flared up the day of the wedding? What do I do? I don't want to limp down the aisle. There are so many things and just so many worries that I had. So I just want to talk through some things that I did to help decrease my stress. Okay. So the number one thing that I did was that I stayed on top of my medication. This was so important because sometimes it is very easy to forget, oh, it's Friday, I was supposed to take my medication, I'm already in bed, I'll take it tomorrow. And then, oh, it's Saturday, I was supposed to take my medication tomorrow, or yesterday, but I'm already in bed, I'll take it tomorrow. And then sometimes we fall into this habit of just pushing it back day by day, and then before we know it, we're 2 weeks behind when we should have actually taken our medication. So number one thing that I did was that I made sure to take my medication, and I stayed on top of taking it to help keep my disease process at its normal level. And of course, normal or everyday flare-ups or those kind of crazy flare-ups were bound to happen or were to happen. So if I noticed that happened, then I would message my rheumatologist and I said, hey, this is what's going on, what can I take? And then I would take something. And also my rheumatologist knew that my wedding was coming up, and of course that comes with stress, and I just wanted to make sure my body was feeling good. So she called out just an extra medication for me to take, just so that I could stay on that as well to help keep my disease process down. So that's also an option. And I feel like that number one thing was huge because it helped me to just keep the level of my level RA at a level where I felt like I was functional. Also, another thing that I did to help with my stress, because typically planning a wedding, you are so stressed out and everything that comes with it is just stressful, was that once I got close to the wedding, I designated someone to handle all of the details. So if anything was going on or something was about to happen or something needed to be changed or something needed to be checked, I had someone that was specifically designated for all of those things. She was my matron of honor. She'd gotten married about a year ago, and she actually reached out to me and said, hey, the wedding's coming up. I know you're about to be overwhelmed, so let me handle anything and everything. And I was like, OMG, you're the best. Because I didn't have a wedding planner or day of coordinator, which I would advise for people that have autoimmune conditions, because that's basically how my matron of honor was to me as we got closer to the wedding. But I just didn't have to pay her, so thank you kindly for that. So I would say having someone designated to handle all of those details is so important. And I'm a type A, I have a type A personality, and I just had to get to a point where I just had to trust someone who knew that I was a type A personality so they would carry out my vision that I had. And also the third thing kind of leads into the third thing that I did was that as we got closer to the wedding, I told everyone, and I told them to tell everyone to spread it around, that if you have a question, a comment, concern, don't come to me with it. To go to anybody else. You can talk to the groom, which no one did because Matt didn't. I made a TikTok of asking Matt questions about our wedding, things that we had planned, and he didn't know any of the answers, so that was something. But I just told everyone, don't ask me. So my bridesmaids, they all had a separate group text that I wasn't in. So that was very helpful because then they would ask each other those last minute questions that were important questions, but just questions that I just didn't need to deal with, that didn't pertain to me. Of course, I knew the answers to them, but it just was something that I didn't need to flood into my mind. So one big thing that I did was just telling everyone to don't message me. And that was very helpful because then also you don't realize that as you get closer to the wedding, you have these people that RSVP'd that are now telling you they're no longer coming to the wedding, which I understand why they did it, because you know, they wanted to be respectful, and I respect that. But then also, if they just had not shown up, I wouldn't have noticed. I mean, I would have noticed, but I wouldn't have like seeked them out and then had a moment during my wedding day of like, oh, so-and-so's not here. What happened? Just because there's so much, not to say that they're not important, but there's just so much that's going on. And so just your mind is everywhere. So you're not really looking at like keeping a head count on everyone, like checking off the RSVP in your list in your head while looking at everybody. So people could have just not told me that and just not showed up, because that was kind of frustrating, because I think it ended up being like 24 people that RSVP'd and it didn't show, in which some of them, a couple like had COVID, some were concerned about COVID, and some just were no longer able to go anymore. So that was kind of, that was a challenge, and that was something that people didn't really tell me that was going to happen. So it helped me to deal with that, because I didn't have to deal with any other extra questions that everyone that I was close to that they had. So that was helpful, and that was like a balance, because if I had to deal with both, you know, I think I would have lost my mind. But then the fourth thing that I did, and people say this all the time, and I thought it was cliche, but it's so important, to just enjoy the moment. I literally went into like the weekend of my wedding, I like was telling people that I was just like zenning out, that I was just going to wake up, it was gonna be my wedding day, I was gonna go through every day, get my makeup done, take pictures, just have like the experience and not worry about anything. And I didn't. I literally didn't, because I set everything so detailed and so perfect for everyone. Like my decorating team, I set out exactly how I wanted everything decorated, and I just made sure that all of my T's were crossed, my I's were dotted, so that when other things, like little things that are being taken care of the day of the wedding, someone could have found an answer for it without coming to me. So that helped me to just enjoy the day. And I really did. Was not stressed at all on my wedding day. So many people were so surprised that I wasn't like nervous or anxious or just like one of those brides. I was just chilling. I felt like it was just not like it was another day, because I was really excited, but I felt that calm in how the day was going. So yeah, that is what I wanted to share, because there's just so much anxiousness that comes with big events, especially with people that have chronic illnesses. And I had those worries of, what if I'm flared up on the day of? What if this doesn't go right? What if this happens? So I just want to share those 4 things that I did to help me feel calm and collected. And that's something that you can do with any other special event. It doesn't just have to be a wedding, but for my example, it was a wedding. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, comments, concerns, y'all can DM me or email me on Instagram. I am RAWarrior_Randy, and my email is rawarriorrandy@gmail.com. And as always, I hope y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Goodbye.